My name is Tori Williams, and I'm here to present my research presentation entitled SuccessMaker Scheduling and Improving Student Math Performance in an Urban Middle School. All right, looking at the presentation overview, these are the key areas that I'm going to be highlighting throughout the presentation. Starting off with the introduction. So why are we here? Before we can start off there, we have certain key terms that we have to discuss so you can understand the presentation. First off, we have difference scores. This is where I took the math performance scores on their tests and used the two different assessments and found the difference between them, and that will tell us whether they're measuring growth or whether students regress in their performance. We have the gains, which is speaking in terms of SuccessMaker, how they perform the SuccessMaker between their initial placement and their current level at the time of the second assessment, finding the gains they had on there. We have intervention, which is the remediation that's provided for students needing extra support in math or reading. We have the Louisiana Educational Assessment Program, or LEAP. Basically, it's a Louisiana statewide standardized assessment program that features diagnostic and interim assessments for LEAP 360, and is used to monitor student progress toward the standards to prepare them for the high stakes testing called LEAP 2025. We have performance, which is their scores on the LEAP 360 assessments, and then we have SuccessMaker, which is Pearson's computer-based intervention program for math and reading students needing extra help. All right, some background information. There's a lot of competition in the education field brought on by charter schools and non-public schools, focusing on student performance scores on assessments. So chronic low performance in math and reading creates the need for extensive remediation. So a process that many schools have started to use are computer-based intervention programs like Pearson's SuccessMaker to buy time and make up for the skills that students were weak in. So let's see what the research says about this. When looking at what other researchers focus on, these are the three areas I focused on for this study. Effects of technology on student performance, characteristics of the effective intervention programs, and other contributing factors. Some of the highlights right here, we see being aware of the important role student engagement plays in improving student learning outcomes is essential for any successful educational program. Another quote, computer-based intervention programs used to supplement instruction can help counter the obstacles faced by many teachers in urban school settings by targeting specific areas of weakness. And students prefer the incorporation of technology in lessons and enjoy receiving instant feedback from computer-based programs. So honing in even more, looking at the effects of technology on student performance, we see in a study by Cozy and Riccomini, analysis of pre and post assessments results revealed that students participating in the digital-based interventions showed improvement in math fact fluency. The researchers also called for more studies detailing the effects and characteristics of digital-based math fluency intervention programs. In the next area, characteristics of an effective intervention program, Bowens and Warren in 2016 studied an intervention program in Los Angeles called the Jamie Escalante Math Program. And basically their results revealed that 7th and 8th grade students participating in the program demonstrated improved performance, allowing them to enter their next grade with the foundational skills needed to be successful. And teacher surveys and administrator surveys also revealed that they had the characteristics of effective intervention programs. Lastly, other contributing factors. In a study by Raphael, Lambda, and Spires in 2014, they found that most of their students had positive attitudes towards mathematics before and after participating in an intervention program. A checklist of engagement showed that the computer-based instruction group was more engaged during the intervention than the hands-on group. And last, a study by Larkin and Hewitt revealed that students must have positive prior experiences with technology and encounter few technical issues before engagement can occur. So using that as the framework, previous researchers established a correlation between student engagement and motivation with improved academic performance. And has also shown that computer-based programs are effective for engaging students and monitoring student progress. However, while there's plenty of research about that, there hasn't been much research about what's the best way to deliver that to the students. So that's what the focus of this program research study was. Looking at the two types of options that the school site used. They used two options, intervention and supplement. With intervention, the characteristics were they got daily access to the SuccessMaker activities. Their intervention specialist was provided that gives them instant feedback, assistance and progress monitoring, and the students are scheduled in these classes giving up one elective course, and they have separate classes for math and reading intervention. A potential problem is, because you're removing them out of band or choir or home economics, it can affect student engagement and their attitudes toward the intervention. Another option is the supplement option, where in this case, 30 minutes of access to the SuccessMaker activities were done twice weekly during their actual math or English class. And the math and ELA teachers monitor the student progress. The problem here is that requiring those teachers to allocate a certain amount of time each week for this intervention can take up their instruction time. So that could be another problem with the supplement. So let's look at the questions and hypothesis that we're focused on for this study. This study hopes to determine if students enrolled in the SuccessMaker math intervention class with daily access to the program show more improvement on assessments than students that access the program during their math class twice weekly. The proposed study examined if there was a difference in performance between the students in the intervention classes or the students that just took it as a supplement. So the hypothesis was that there would be no difference in mean performance on the Leap360 score, and there would be no difference in their different scores between the two assessments. And the three main questions I'm focusing on is, what is the difference in their mean assessment performance between the two groups? What, if any, relationship exists between their performance level in SuccessMaker and their performance on each of the interim assessments? And whether or not there's a relationship that exists between the gains made in SuccessMaker and their score on the different scores between the interim assessments. So how do I go about doing this? First off, some information about the school chosen. So at the school, they had 258 students, and it was split 50-50 in terms of male and female. The school is majority African American, about 94% are African American at the school. Looking at some of the performance data from the school, from 2014 to 2017, we see that there is a large number of students struggling in math, so the need for intervention was great at this school site. From the sample chosen for the study, I had 37 participating students, 13 7th graders, and 24 8th graders. And the demographics of the participants, 34 are African American. The instruments used to measure for the test, we have Pearson SuccessMaker, and then we have the Leap360 interim assessments. The procedure I used descriptive statistics to find the mean performance of the Leap360 scores, their SuccessMaker levels, gains, and their different scores. Then I used a paired sample t-test to test the significance of their Leap360 scores, and then an independent sample test to test the significance between the groups, and lastly a correlation analysis to test the relationship for the different sets of data. So let's look at the data analysis for the results. Starting off with Leap360, we see the chart right here. I broke it down by group, and you can see how many students were in each group, what was their mean performance on the first assessment, the second assessment, and what was the mean performance overall for the different scores. And the results indicated that the students in the SuccessMaker supplement group performed better than the students in the intervention group by nearly 8 points. And an independent sample t-test was found to be statistically significant, showing that the supplement group outperformed the intervention group. In terms of the different scores, the results indicate that students on average experienced a decline in performance of nearly 11 points between the first and second assessment. Student scores in the SuccessMaker supplement group on average declined about 3.68 points more than students in the SuccessMaker intervention group. Now looking at correlation, how we work this, the closer it is to 1, the stronger the positive relationship. The closer it is to 0, more likely there is no relationship between the data. So starting off with their IP level in their Leap360 interim first assessment, we see that there was a moderate positive correlation, and it was found to be significant. So this indicates that a tendency for students with a higher SuccessMaker IP level to score higher on the first form of the Leap360 interim assessment. So we look right here, we look at the R, and we see overall it was a 0.55, so that's a moderate positive relationship. So as the scores, higher scores in SuccessMaker, the students tended to score higher also on the interim assessment. Results were similar for the second assessment and their progress level on SuccessMaker at that time of taking that assessment. Same thing, moderate positive correlation. Same thing. As a higher score in SuccessMaker led to a higher score on that interim assessment. looked at SuccessMaker gains and the difference scores. So we took the difference between their first and second assessment, and we took the gains made in SuccessMaker between the first time they took SuccessMaker and then the latest installation. All right, analysis of that in SuccessMaker showed that it produced a weak positive correlation and was found to be non-significant, meaning that the test showed that there was little to no relationship between the gains made in SuccessMaker and their different scores on the LEAP 360 assessments. So what does this mean? Looking at our summary, in terms of LEAP 360 performance, the results indicate that students in the SuccessMaker supplement group performed better than students in the SuccessMaker intervention group. With the different scores between the two assessments, results indicate that students on average experienced a decline in performance of nearly 11 points. For the correlation analysis between their LEAP 360 performance and their SuccessMaker level, it was a moderate positive correlation. The higher their score in SuccessMaker, the higher they did on LEAP 360. And the last one, their different scores on LEAP 360 and their SuccessMaker gains indicated there was no significant relationship between the gains made in SuccessMaker and the LEAP 360 interim assessment. So in terms of my hypothesis, the first part of the hypothesis was that there would be no significant difference in meeting LEAP 360 math performance between the two groups of students. The data failed to support that hypothesis because, as I said, we found out that the supplement group significantly outperformed the intervention group. However, the second part of the hypothesis, there would be no significant difference in mean LEAP 360 difference scores between the two groups. The data supports this hypothesis. The difference in difference scores was found to be non-significant. So answering the questions, what is the difference in mean assessment performance between the groups? Like we said the supplement group significantly outperformed the intervention group. The relationship that exists between SuccessMaker level and their scores on the interim assessments, students with higher levels of SuccessMaker scored higher on the LEAP 360 assessments. This highlights the importance of offering remediation programs to improve math foundational skills. Last question, what if any relationship exists between student gains in SuccessMaker and their interim difference scores? There was no significant relationship. So let's talk about the limitations. With the study, one limitation is the small sample size. We normally try and target 60 participants. However, due to a technical error with the student SuccessMaker data, ended up with only 37. So it's difficult to generalize these results to the entire school population. So a recommendation is for further studies into the effectiveness of SuccessMaker and other intervention offerings. Secondly, is the lack of diversity amongst the sample. The demographics of the chosen school was majority one race. So results can only be generalized with schools with similar demographics. So I would recommend another study with another school that uses the same program that has a more diverse student body. And the last limitation was a surprising result finding that there was a huge regression between the first and second assessment of nearly 11 points. So it's possible that other effective characteristics such as student apathy towards the practice test or the interim assessment contributed to this. So conclusions drawn from this data has to be scaled back due to the unanswered questions about what caused that regression. So what I recommend is that a similar study examines the relationship between SuccessMaker performance level in using the high-stakes standardized tests of LEAP 2025 to neutralize the impact that student apathy could possibly have on these results. So the conclusion. What I conclude from this is that providing time during math class instruction where students are fully engaged in the SuccessMaker program can produce the desired results for improvement. Despite the limitations, it's clear to see the positive effect that SuccessMaker has on improving student foundational math skills. Pulling students from their electives once or twice weekly for SuccessMaker programming can possibly be a viable option. So the educational impact. This study emphasizes the importance of students attaining higher levels of math skills to generate higher performance on assessments. It highlights a possible alternative to removing struggling students from elective courses to take intervention courses, and it can hopefully enlighten educational leaders about other possible options for improving student performance in math. All right, that concludes the study. Thank you for coming out.